Hey, and we are back. We got a good show for you today. I have a guest, a returning guest, a kid who just won the NIT championship and is getting ready for the next potential transition of his basketball life. We have Kai Huntsberry on the show, so please stay tuned for that. If you're here, you're a real one. Do that HBO special, help a brother out. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, help us out with the algorithm. Did you say no?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it sounded like you said no. All right, yeah. Please help me out with that, and it'd be very appreciated. Thank you.
From the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California, it's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C.Collins and Coach MJ.
Start 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, welcome to About That Life podcast. I'm your host, Coach C.Collins. Coach Jeffries, MJ, couldn't be here for this episode because it's a quick impromptu episode because I have somebody who's a recurring guest who just came back for a day. So we said, let's sit down, let's talk, because I've been trying to get this fool to come back to the show for a minute. If you want to learn more about him and his history and our history together, please feel free to check out, I think it was episode 3 or 4. I don't know. It was a while ago. But he was one of my first guests, a kid I coached, and have watched him progress over the years. We're going to get into the show. We're going to have some fun topics to talk about. Of course, his championship
he
run.
didn't even coach me for coaching.
Here we go. All right, it already starting. But no, without further ado, let me introduce and reintroduce to you guys who know him, Kai Huntsberry.
Yo, I'm about to bag. You got to ask me.
Yeah. Shout out to DB. All right, Kai. So, how are you?
I'm doing good.
You good? You sure?
Yeah.
You did all the talking before the show. Now I'm doing good. Okay. Well, let's get into it. Congratulations on your championship. Let's talk about that. How's that? How does that? Let's talk about how does that feel? That journey, that process, all of it, man. Put it out there. I know you've probably talked about it a lot, but you didn't get a chance to talk about it on my show. So talk about it. Talk about that. The steps through this year.
It was just a surreal type of thing. Like, it still hasn't hit me yet. I've said that a couple times, but I really haven't just, like, sat down and really thought about it. But it's crazy. It's like from a kid nobody really recruited to someone that won NIT is, like, kind of like the best way to kind of end out something.
And it's the first in your school's history, right?
Yeah.
So what about your relationship with your teammates, your coach, all that type of stuff?
I love all those guys. Those are people that I consider family now. It was just something that was something I really looked for in a school, and like have somewhere where I can really call it home, and like somewhere I can always go back to. And like all the coaches, all the teammates, I love them. Like, and I'm happy to see what they do for these next years. Like TP is going to commit soon. Ruben and them are going to stay and kill in the next year. Then one of my teammates, Jaden, he just signed pro. Had his first buckets as a pro.
Nice.
It was just Tyree and everybody. I feel like it's going to kill.
All right. And then let's talk about your transition then. What's the next step? What would you like to do, or what's your plan?
I just want to hoop. That's how I've always said that. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I'm going to play somewhere.
Okay. So the biggest, I'm going to break down a lot of things because this is obviously, for the show, I want kids to hear your perspective. I want them to know the journey and understand the work it takes. So let's delve right into that one. The amount of work you've had to put in to get even to this point and to even walk away, like you said, with a championship ring and bring something to your school that's the first in history. Like, what's the amount of work, the hours, the regiment, the self-doubt, the self-talks, the self-motivation, the everything? Like, break it all down, because there's a lot of kids, I think, that don't understand quite what it takes.
It's just, I feel like you have to love playing basketball for you to be able to go through a journey, especially if, like, you're not the most confident.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that I struggled with, like, really early. And even when I played for you, you would always, like, I'm always joking, but you always sat me down and knew when to say something like, come on, Kai, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's just something that you kind of have to learn how to do yourself, and I'm still learning how to do it. And those days are hard, and it's like you're not always going to have a coach that tells you to just rock out and do whatever you want.
Right.
And you're going to have to learn how to, like, I talked about this with my D2 coaches, even throughout this year. They're just saying, like, learn how to self-motivate, because not everybody's going to be that motivational person that you have. And, like, I'm glad that I've had motivational people that help me, like, start to at least build confidence. But it takes everything, for real. It's a sacrifice, like a lot of sacrifice and stuff. And even then, like, I still feel like I don't work out enough. And it's like I always feel like somebody's outworking me. But I just want to be better than everybody. Like, that's my goal. I told my trainer that. I told him I want to be the best person that he's ever trained.
Nice.
And it's just like stuff like that I feel like can separate you. It's not really like, it's like all about mindset and how much are you willing to put in to get what you want to get out of what you want. And that's in anything, really.
What you said reminds me of that one analogy. I think a lot of people have heard it by now on Instagram, but it was this one coach who was saying it. He said like a great athlete puts in a lot of work and still feels like he didn't do enough, right? Where, like a good athlete, puts in an amount of work and feels like he's done, right? So I've always found that interesting, because I think that is the mindset you got to have. I try to tell the kids, I tell a lot of people, and you can, tell me from your perspective, because me being an older guy and you being a younger kid, you have to kind of have something wrong with you. You know what I mean? You are obsessed with something. We're not normal. That's just the best way I could put it. There, you do have to kind of have something wrong with you, that you put yourself through all this punishment and want to keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, pause that, by the way. But
shut up.
That was crazy. No, but I think, everybody that I work out with, something's wrong with them.
Yeah.
That's something that I had to, like, figure out, too. It was just they have such a mentality that was new to me. And Coach Brandon said it to me when I was younger. I was in 8th grade. And then he said it to me again my junior year. He was like, you're not gonna succeed because you don't take it seriously enough. You just love playing.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand what he meant. And now I understand what he means now. I just love playing. So, like, I was always in the gym, but I didn't know what I was doing. I just love playing. And I saw how I got better from it, because I feel like the more and more you play, you're going to get better. But something, like, literally has to be wrong with you. And it's fun. Like, it's cool to have people around you that have that, like,
that same issue. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like now it's just someone always challenging you to be better. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people – I don't want to speak for everyone, but I feel like nowadays a lot of people kind of run from that challenge more.
I agree.
Than accepting the challenge, because, like, I got coached hard my whole life.
Yeah.
I didn't really, I'm transferring or doing anything like that. So,
right. And
I think it really just takes like something being wrong with you for real. And then, I don't know. I just feel like you have to love something that much for you to want to do it. And I feel like people can't teach you to want to do something. You have to want to do it, regardless of the reason of why.
I agree.
You have to just want to do it. And I feel like me wanting to be here I kind of made it happen. And I have a lot of people to help me, but I made it happen.
Right. And I mean, I bring you up a lot when it comes to my kids and that I coach, and players like you that I've watched have success. And it is the landscape between your years in AAU with me and what it is now is changed drastically. I mean, the reclassing, it's kind of created this crazy storm of between reclassing, COVID, you know, guys deciding to retain their years in college, right? You know, it has this effect where guys are getting older, guys are getting stronger, guys are getting faster. You know what I mean? It's if you're think about it with you were a young senior, right? I got a kid like that right now, Cab. He's a young senior, and I told him his road's going to be tough because, you know, guys even at the JC level, you know, we got 20-year-old freshmen, 21-year-old freshmen, and no knock on it. It just is what it is. That's a 20-year-old body is so more developed than a 17, 16-year-old body. It's just the reality. So it's like watching the landscape of what it's all becoming is pretty interesting. When you're working out, like we talked about, guys with the screw loose and the way we look at the game and the way we obsess over the game. When you're working out with like Shine or any of your trainers or any of those guys, like you guys are doing open runs together or working out together and stuff, do you think it adds that other element? Like you said, you want to be around people that have that same mentality. How do you approach it if you ran into someone that kind of doesn't? I feel like most of those people don't come to those type of open runs or anything anyway, but you can tell the guys that are going through the motions.
So I was kind of one of those guys at the same time. Like even during our training sessions, like they have a literal switch.
Yeah.
And I'm so always just laughing and stuff because I just
you're a goofy little fucking kid.
So like that's how I approach basketball. Like the better I play is like when I have fun.
Yeah.
But they kind of grit like, come on, Kyle, you got to turn it up. You got to work out. Like you're going too slow, and that's something I respect a lot out of them because if you're considered good to some people. And, like, you can go through a workout and, like, you could be lackadaisical. And, like, some people won't say anything. But all of those guys are, like, people that I always thought were really good. Growing up and I watched, and they're always like, come on, you can always do more. You can, come on, push yourself.
Right.
And that's something that is just tough.
Yeah.
You need people like that. And that was something that I needed, too. Because it was just having those people to be like, come on, like, you're going too slow. Like, stop the workout made my mentality switch. And, like, it was, like, some people don't want to hear it. I didn't even want to hear it. I'm like, bro, like, I'm not trying to hear that. Like, leave me alone. But at the same time, it made that little switch pop. Like, come on. Like, now I got to turn up. And then they'll get mad at me because now I'm turning up. They're like, just do that the whole time.
Right.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, what's
like,
wrong
stall back, right?
Yeah, so that's something that I love from that. And what was the question one more time?
I'm saying, what have you dealt with if you've been around someone who doesn't seem to be, they're going through the motions?
What they did help me out, but I have the kind of the same issue that they do. But I would just say, if you can continuously be with them, like, and you know you're going to be around them, I feel like finding or building a relationship to where, like, find why they love something, find something that they love that much. And then use that as motivation. Like, you can bond over something to make them want to do something. Because I can't make you love basketball as much as I can, but everybody loves something as much as I love basketball.
Right.
Like, whether that's doing something. So you would just try to find a common goal. I would say, like, try to find a common goal. Like, why are you here if you don't want to? Okay, bet.
Right.
And just try to find a common goal and try to figure out, like, okay, you might not love playing basketball this much, but you love something this much. And just try to form, like, a relationship off of that. And then once you can form a relationship with somebody to make them comfortable enough, then I feel like you can push people.
All right. And then walk me through, just so, again, this is just kind of information I want kids to really understand and know. I mean, walk me through the day-to-day at school or at college. I mean, obviously there's the understanding, okay, you go to class, you got workouts and stuff, but I really just don't think people in general understand, how much work, even if it's on a personal level, you have to put in on a day-to-day grind to play at, a high level. So go ahead and describe it.
It depends on the people, but a lot of my teammates, they always, like, I'll say that about our team. A lot of people were always in the gym.
Yeah.
And that was cool to see. But for me, we would have, like, we have an early lifting group and we have a later lifting group. But I would work out before practice. And then
what time is that usually, like?
It depends.
Early in the morning or afternoon? Or
so towards the end of the season, practice was more like 10, 11.
Okay.
But earlier in the season, around like 9.
Okay.
So I'll get to practice like an hour sometimes an hour early.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season, like a little later.
Yeah.
But I'll work out before practice, and if I didn't have time, I would work out or I'll shoot right after, and then I would come back usually with some of our managers around like 8 or 9.
Okay.
p.m., and then we'll have practice, and then I'll lift around 12 whenever practice ends.
Yeah.
So it'll just be like I'll try to work out like twice or 3 times.
Okay.
Like, and a lot of them aren't just like heavy. I'm over there patting the ball and all that.
Yeah.
But like just trying to figure out like my shooting and
Right.
just trying to continue to have rhythm. But it takes a lot, to be honest.
Okay.
Especially when you see all those people in the gym. Like
Yeah.
that, it's kind of contagious.
Right.
Like,
it makes you want to go because you don't want to feel like the odd man out, right?
yeah. So it was fun to have people like whenever I would go in. Like sometimes we won't even have enough court. I'll have to wait, like sit back and wait. I'm like, dang, this is my time. Like when y'all start coming this late.
That's how it is. I mean, and then, well, what about like, did you guys have film sessions and all that stuff?
We
too?
have.
Okay.
Oh my god, we'll watch film for sure. We'll watch film for a long time, especially. But it was good. I like to have that part too because I watch a lot of film on my own.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out how to get better at certain things.
Right.
But their film sessions was really good. They're really attention to detail. Like,
Okay.
That was a lot of details and everything. That was the main part.
Let me ask you, like, while you guys are in film session and stuff, because I do film sessions with my kids, and obviously film sessions can have it's kind of it's an interesting setting because you're obviously watching yourself, but you're trying not to get captivated by any highlights. But at the same time, you're all quiet in a room. But then you might say a joke here and there, and then everyone starts laughing. So, was your coaches and your players, did they keep a pretty good balance between all of it? Like,
it was a good balance. A lot of
because even your coaches, even I say jokes in the film. So
our coaches, like I feel like they would start off. They always started off with a joke, and here or there, like if we were in there for a long time, they'll say one in the middle. Right. They always had some jokes, but and when we saw some highlights, we would like, dang, you hear people, but they did a really good job, and it was they kept us all focused, they kept us all attentive towards everything, and they chewed us out, for real. But it was, of course, it gets annoying to everybody, but when you look back at it, like during the moment when you getting chewed out, obviously you're gonna be like, bro, whatever. But like when you look back at it, I'm grateful for it because they hold you to a really high standard, and that's something that if you want to be good and you want to be a pro, then that's something that you have to be able to do, even though it gets annoying. Like it's all about how you respond to it. Like you can see it. Like they even said it sometimes to me. Like I can see like you're annoyed, but you're trying.
Yeah,
like, you're literally going out there and you're doing your best to do what we said, and I feel like that's the best thing you can really do.
Right. To
respond to that instead of trying to talk back or trying to do anything, because if they're not yelling at you, they really don't care.
They don't care. Exactly.
So as long as you have, and it's hard to really say because you have to go through it for you to really understand it, because you're going to have somebody that gets under your skin bad, and you're just going to have to go through it. And that's something that I had to do. Like, even though I take criticism really well, but even me, I was like, bro, leave me alone. I'm not trying to hear this. Like, but it's all about how I responded, and they thought I did a good job. And it was just, I'm happy to have people like that, and I'm happy to have people like you too. And they're lucky because you have to learn how to want to watch film and do all that by yourself by the time you get to this age.
Yeah.
If you're not watching film now, then by the time you get to college, it's gonna be like what, you never watch film?
Yeah, I mean, I try to, I do that with my youth kids, my 5th grade, my 6th grade. I use my film sessions also as like a family bonding time and stuff.
Yeah.
You go to someone's house and we all eat some food and we watch it. You try to. I use it that way, but the kids are still learning. But like you said, I'm trying to get them conditioned to do that stuff early, because I'm the type of coach, and I've always been like this. Even when I coach you, I'm trying to coach you to where you want to be at, right? I'm not coaching you to be a high school player. If your goal is only to be a high school player, then I'm probably not, you shouldn't even be on my teams, you know what I mean? I'm coaching guys who have made a conscious choice, or have at least said to me to some degree, I want to play college ball. I don't care where, but I want to play college ball. Okay, well, I'm going to coach you like what they expect in college, right? The unfortunate side, I would say, with AAU now is just kids are a lot softer. There's a lot more, there's so many more programs, and it's a lot of directors and coaches that are willing to tell kids whatever they want to hear.
So they can play.
Yeah.
For them.
So they can play for them. You know, I mean, you know to a degree. Like, you know, there's people that sell you, you know, they'll sell water to a well. They don't care. Like, it's all about you know, put my jersey on, make our club look good. That's all they care about. As opposed for me, I'm invested in the kid. I don't, you know, YBA, now Team Rise, you know, shout out to Adidas and Compton Magic, got me on the circuit. But even if the high school, let's say, fails, and what I mean by fail is, let's just say we're getting our butts kicked, we go 0-8 or whatever, YBA is still going to be here because the foundation is the youth and the development. At the end of the day, that's you know, you're a product of that. You know, kid came in 7th, 8th grade and, you know, been here ever since. Like, that's our base, right?
Yeah.
The high school side is just the end destination. So, but a lot of programs, that's usually not the case. I mean, the NBA sponsor programs, the Team Lillards, the Jalen Green Elites and stuff, that's a different category, right? They got an NBA guy backing them up. They got resources, finances. You know, the Oakland Soldiers, things like that, like programs like them, where I think they're in a situation where they're kind of obligated to push out a certain type of athlete. I think that puts a lot of crazy pressure on them, right? So sometimes, you know, it's got to be like win at all costs, right? Yeah. And that's where, to me, it walks a fine line, right? And that's where you can see a lot of shady stuff happen. What I wanted to talk to you about, now that you're really removed out of it, out of AAU basketball, you really can kind of sit back and observe now. We talked about it in your episode before, but now it's, you know, what's it been, like 2 years now? Yeah, like, I don't know if you've just seen kind of the shift of it and things. I think a lot of AU's become more mixtape culture now, you know. Yeah. It's so many kids that are the next best great. And you were a kid that was honestly quite the opposite. Like, you weren't a mixtape kid. You weren't, you know, you had to earn that shit. And then, like you said, earning it and going through it and having guys like me and Coach Brandon and us push the fuck out of you and say, no, like, keep going, is now put you in a position where, to me, I think you know, you have that hunger and desire that is required to be a high level athlete. What would you have to say to this kind of mixtape, softer AAU culture? What's your perspective on it?
I think, like, the people don't understand, like, even when people are getting mixtapes, like, I met some of, like, the top, like, the #1 junior in the nation, and, like, him. And I'm like, and I watched him play AAU, and I'm like, dang, like, he really plays hard. Yeah. Like, and that's the thing that surprises a lot of people. Right. It really doesn't matter about a lot of stuff. He's going to get a mixtape regardless. Yeah. He's a #1 player in the nation. Right. But people don't understand, like, everybody that has mixtapes, they, like, either they really, really just naturally, okay, they have it, or, like, they really do play hard and they have it. And, like, he really plays hard. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Like, I watched Cooper Flagg play, and he's considered the #2 player in his class. Right. Like, they all play really hard. And that's something that you don't really see as much because everybody wants to be cool. Right. And it's weird because it was just like, dang, there's cameras everywhere, and, like, people everywhere. Like, you make a play, and now you're looking at the camera, and, like, it's cool, I guess. Like, but I don't know. It's just weird. Right. Like,
because you didn't grow up. I mean, again, like, and it's not like you're super old, but it wasn't like that.
I grew up watching people that were like that. Like, obviously, like the Trevor Dunbars, the Quill Cars, the Kill Cars. My bad. And, like, people like that I'm like, dang, I want to be like that one day. But even then, it's just like I don't really find no need for it. Right. Because it's probably just me. I don't know. I don't really just look out for cameras. It's weird. I feel like. And I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I saw somebody play this past week. One of our managers, Dez, one of my good friends, he coaches the AAU team. Yeah. And then I was watching one of his kids play. He's tough, like, really good. Nice. And he made a play, and he looked out for the camera, but they were losing. Right. And I'm like, just tell him, like, don't be so consumed in, like, the fact of, like, because if you can hoop, they'll find you, I feel like. Right. Because there's some people that can hoop. Yeah. He can hoop. Right. And they going to get him, regardless if you have a mixtape or not, because if you're playing those caliber of players and you hooping, like, you don't need a mixtape for people to know that you're good. I didn't need Like, I don't go out because you can watch film, you can do all that. And I just feel like if you're so consumed in how you look, and it's just going to end up, like, bad.
Yeah. Well,
Because once you run into those people that all were like that, like, you're going to get to a level where everybody's just, like, was like you in high school, and everybody is like that too. So
okay.
now what are you going to do when you're not that guy? Like, are you still going to look out, or is that the only reason why you play?
Yeah.
Like, to look good for the camera? And that's something that that makes me like, dang.
Well, then what I want you to talk about too, like when you're at the collegiate level, especially like I said, playing at a level you did, and the importance of roles, the importance of buy-in, right?
Important.
The importance of team culture, right? The importance of being efficient, right? Because we it's so crazy because, like, I'm watching Shine do his training today, with the prospective NBA guys or summer league guys and whatnot, and so many kids or so many people don't realize that a lot of those pro training things and such, it's not all these crazy it's the simple stuff.
Just make shots.
Yeah.
Keep make shots or not.
Yeah. It's it's just small, little simple backdoor cuts or catch 1-2 pull up.
It's nothing crazy.
But
like, a lot of people don't really understand, like, when you watch a workout, you'll see, like, some people will work on, like, people like Steph, he'll do, like, step backs and stuff, but he's not doing 50 million.
Yeah, they think he's doing, like, 15,000 reps
like
of
he'll
that.
Catch it and go hard, like, okay, 1-2 dribble, step back.
Yeah.
And that's simple.
Right.
It actually is.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, he's here, I'm going to step back. He's not really doing all of that. But I would say, like, team buy-in is crazy. Like, that's something that we preached. We've had film sessions about, like, if our team huddles weren't tight.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really important
like
to
a
me.
small detail, right?
Yeah.
So what someone might say a small detail, but
that's
it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing. And I feel like, and our coach preached it to us, was just like, compete. What was our motto? Compete, serve. Dang, I don't remember.
So you out of school already.
Yeah, for real. I'm locked out. Believe, serve, and compete.
Nice.
And we have to believe in each other, compete for each other, and serve each other.
I like
so
that.
It was just something that we always, and he preached, just love each other.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, I don't care. Like, because Coach Wood, he brought us into film one day. He just 30 minutes about how our team huddles didn't look tight. We didn't look like a team. We all looked disappointed in each other, like, in specific things. And he was like, do you believe in him? We're like, yeah. Then why are you looking at him like that? Like,
right.
In that moment, he might not have taken it that way. Like, and if people can see that, your face right here, like, and your teammates see it, just imagine, because this is on TV.
Yeah.
Everybody thinking, like, oh, dang.
Right.
So it was just stuff like that he preached. And, like, everybody, believe, serve, and compete is, like, the biggest thing to us, because we had people that were 1,000 career point scorers that their roles weren't to shoot the ball that much.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Right.
Because, like, I'm in college and I've scored 1,000 points.
But now
But
your roles.
But you don't want me to go out and try to go get like.
Right.
And people don't understand, like, they had to sacrifice so much for us to win. And the fact that they sacrificed for that, like, somebody told me, like, we can always go back and watch film.
Yeah.
We can always go back and see your stats.
Yeah.
We can always go back and look at all of that stuff. But if I came and saw you play, like, how do you interact with your team? Like, how are you when you're not making shots? What else can you bring besides, okay, if you're a shot maker or something like that, what else can you bring? And I had to sacrifice too. Like, I went from scoring 20 points, shoot whatever shot I wanted, basically, to, like, some of those shots coach would be on my ass for. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, bro, I can make this. And, like, that's something that you had to learn I had to learn too. It's just like, oh, I can do this. Like, why are you hating, basically?
Right.
And he just was like, I'm not hating. I want the best possible shot for us to win.
It's efficiency, right?
And it was just something, like, I didn't understand, but, like, the more and more he explained it and more throughout the year, even then he was like, I need you to take some tough shots sometimes, and I need you to make them. Like, we need that. But the more simple, like, the more we can get a great shot every time, the more we're going to win. And that was something that you have to do to win. Like, the most important thing is winning. All of those things that you said, like, equate to winning. Like, knowing your role and sacrifice, like, knowing your role is winning. Because if you have a role on the team and you're trying to do something else, that sacrifice is winning.
And I think too, because when they get you guys in college, essentially, even though you're all young men, you're still men though. You're young men. You're all learning, but you're men, and it does kind of eliminate the parent element. And I do think in AAU culture, that's why it's hard, because some parents, like your parents, are great. They always
just
let us do our thing. They let us do our thing. They didn't give a fuck. But you know, this is just my own experience being in this AAU stuff and director and whatnot. There's a lot of parents that, you know, especially now, they make everything difficult. You know, coaching your kid, they think their kid deserves X amount of playing time, X amount of shots, X amount. You know, right?
I say I respect it because every parent wants that to happen. Our coach would say the same thing when he came to talk to us. He was like, me, if I go to my kid's game, and I'm a college coach and I understand this. Yeah. He would be like, I want my kid to hit a home run. I want to ask my kid these questions like, oh, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And he was like, and it's hard. It's hard for that. He was like, it sucks because like I understand what it's like.
He understands that feeling. Yeah.
But like at the same time, like as a parent, you would want that for your kid. Right. But I really just think that it's really based on what type of kid that the kid is. Yeah. I just say like no matter what my parents said, like my parents would be like, man, you need to play this, you need to do this. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't care. Yeah. It's all about getting better. So like you might have a role, but that doesn't mean that your role won't change. Right. Like, and if you continuously work on something, like say coach is like, oh, I don't want you to shoot threes that much. It doesn't mean like
don't ever shoot a three.
Yeah, it doesn't mean like when I go home I'm about to just try to dunk everything and work on layups. Of course, like their coaches are gonna try to play to your strong suits, but they're never saying like we don't need you not to do anything like that, because we have a kid named Aaron on our team. He's tough. I think he's gonna be crazy. Okay, he's a sophomore. Okay, and he wasn't like I don't think the year before he didn't shoot as many threes and stuff like that, but he was in the gym all the time. Now he's shooting 1-2 dribble pull-ups, cast. Like when he shot it, we always thought it was going in. Right, and that's something that he didn't. Like, I'm not saying he didn't have it. Right. But, like, that's something that he wasn't shooting in the beginning of the year. And, like, coach would get mad at people shoot mid-range shots, but when he shoot it, we all standing up like, that's a bucket. Yeah. And it's just, like, it's not saying, like, his role won't ever be different. Mm-hmm. It's not saying that we never thought he couldn't do it. Coach never thought he couldn't do it. It was just the fact, like, at that exact moment, he didn't want him to do that yet. And that's something that kids have to realize, like, everything is not about what you need at that moment. Right. You can progressively get better. Yeah. Like I shot, I don't know, like 30% from three my freshman year, and then I shot 40. Right. Then I shot 41. There you go. And then it was bad. But even then, our coach wasn't like, don't shoot threes. Yeah. Like I want you to shoot. And that's something that I had to get over myself, because once I got in my head, I was like, oh, it's cash now.
Got to shoot your way out of that. Yeah.
But it's like knowing, like putting in the work for you to be able to. Because if you put in enough work to do something, they're gonna let you do it because you've shown that you can do it at a high clip.
Especially in practice. So I feel like practice is where coaches. Well, I can speak from a coach perspective. Practice is where I develop trust in what you can do.
Yeah, like people weren't just out here shooting random shots like, oh, Kai never shot this in practice. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just all these shots that they've seen me, like even in my training sessions when they would come and watch, I'm shooting these shots. Yeah. Even when like. Late at night when I'm by myself and people ask, what was Kai doing? Because they would always ask, like, who's in the gym, who's not. Yeah. They would know, like, I work on these things. And it's just like all these people that you see shooting these shots don't just come into a gym and just like, bet I'm him. I'm him. I'm about to just shoot this. I'm James Harden. I'm about to just shoot this step back.
But it makes me wonder when did or why there is something happen in basketball where there's a shift where the term role player came with this negative connotation now, right? And I don't know how or why.
I'll be a role player.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywhere. But you get paid to know your role. Yeah. There's only a select few people that can do whatever they want. And those are people that are getting paid $400 million.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Those are the crazy, like.
But even scoring is like a role. Like even, you know what I mean?
And even them, their role is to be that guy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They didn't ask them to do anything else. Like there's people that are getting paid millions and millions of dollars to go out there and rebound. Yeah. Tell me to get paid $1 million. I'll come Dennis Rodman.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but when you say this to, like, you know, I could have a group of 6th graders, you know, 5th graders, 7th graders, whatever, and I'm like, hey, you know, I need this kid to play this role. Like, of course, we're going to develop other things. He's going to get chances to do other things, but I need him to focus on this component of his game because he's only 12 years old. I need him to develop this. And, you know, if it doesn't agree with, I guess, whatever their trainer tells them, you know, their trainer's like, no, he should be doing this. And if it's like not a glamorous role, I guess, which typically means he's not scoring as much as they want him to, that's when you get the kids going to other AU programs or, you know, being like, oh, I don't like what you hear. And I don't know why this shift in culture got like this, where if you say to a kid, hey, your role is to protect the paint, I need you to clean up, rebound and clean up garbage baskets. And, you know, if a guy drives, you're ready, your hands up are ready for the dump pass for the layup, right? Just 3 simple things like that can help win a game. You know, I'll get a conversation from a parent. Why isn't my son dribbling more? Or why aren't you letting him take threes?
Like, that's crazy.
It's like you're trying to get him to make layups first.
For real. I don't know. And it comes with a lot like of just who you are and knowing that if you get the opportunity, you'll make the most of it.
Yeah.
I think that people don't understand that as young as I kind of did. But I think it comes with like the love of basketball. I feel like a lot of parents now kind of, I don't know, but I feel like pressure is put on people to where like my parents have never pressured me to play any sport.
True.
They found that I had a genuine love for something and they pushed me towards it.
Yeah.
Like they held me accountable. They would make sure like, oh, you say you're going to do this, now you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that I've taken from them. Like
Right.
I hold that accountability to
But it wasn't like they were forcing you.
Yeah, there wasn't like, no, you're going to practice. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
Like they would just, my mom would literally be like, oh, I'm about to go. Oh, go play basketball, huh?
Right.
I'm like, yeah. They're like, of course. So it's just stuff like that to where it's like when you have a lot of people in your ear, it's like, what do you have? Like, what is your reason of playing? Like, I feel like that comes a lot of in why people can't take rules or like ego. And I feel like ego comes from
mixtape culture for me. That's my opinion. It's the social media aspect and
because everybody has to have ego
to
be able to do something with basketball. Like,
but you got to check it.
But you have to have but ego is not a bad thing.
No, it's
ego
not.
is just like, especially if you carry yourself. Everybody has to have a little cockiness to them. Like, okay, I'm that guy, but it's not. I'm never gonna portray that to where I'm gonna disrespect or like not know I'm not good. Like, I know I'm not good enough to where I can talk back to anybody because nobody is.
Right.
The best players have even said that. There's always someone that knows more.
Right.
There's potentially someone that's always better.
Yeah.
So like I personally know that. So whenever somebody's if somebody's trying to help me, I'm gonna listen. Or if this is what I need to do to stay on the floor, like why wouldn't I? Because if you go somewhere else and they're just letting you do whatever you want, you're gonna run into somebody in college. Okay, you're not gonna do whatever you want. And if you have a problem with it, okay, you can leave. I don't care.
Exactly.
I can find another person like you. And the only people that can really afford to have attitudes are like the unicorns.
Right.
Like if Zion Williamson had an attitude, what you gonna tell him? I'm gonna find another you.
You're not.
Like Bron, what you gonna tell Bron?
You're not.
You're not. And even then, those people have great attitudes.
They do.
And that's what makes them really good. Like they hold themselves to where like they think, oh, I'm that guy. But also they're willing to learn. And I feel like that's something that people have to kind of incorporate in their game because everybody had a rule. Even like during certain games, I have a rule. And that's different from what I am.
Right.
Because it's like when we played Wisconsin, like my whole goal, I was like, bro, I don't care about offense. I really don't. Like I was just trying to shut down anybody.
Right.
Because that was going to help us win. Because obviously if I'm not hitting shots, what else can I contribute to the game? And that's something that I learned early too from getting coached by y'all and having people just be like, I'm not just a scorer. I'm a basketball player. So whatever I need
play
to
defense, pass the ball, rebound,
so whatever I need to do to win, like I'm gonna do that. So like our coach even said it after our tournament. He was like, whoever would have thought Kai Huntsberry, defensive stopper. And I'm like, but it's just like the effort that it takes to win. It's like knowing that what you need to do to win is something important. And knowing what you need to do to win is knowing like what I am as a player. And a lot of people don't want to sit down and have that talk.
Right.
Like who am I as this basketball player? Because I'm not. Some people aren't. You're not. Some people aren't those guys for real. Like when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
Like you could be really good at something, but you're trying to do something else, and it makes you look crazy. And our coach would preach about that all the time. He's like, when you're simple, he'd be like, when you're going to the bathroom, you jump stop, Kai, you look great. When you're doing the simple things, you look great. If you're doing too much, I'm not saying you look bad, but it's not as good. And I'm like, I feel you on that because I made the game too complicated.
No, you're right. Well, your coach was right. Well, then, I want to bring this up. Let me go ahead and talk about this hot take because you got to have a perspective on this because this is something completely new and is affecting the whole landscape of college basketball and basketball in general, the transfer portal, right? I'm going to have Zach on the show soon, too. I've been talking to him because he was a kid who transferred from San Jose to Sac State, and, he graduated and stuff now. And I'm glad I'm getting a chance to talk to basically guys like you seniors because you guys are kind of removed, but you were still in it, but you're out of it now, right? You're in an in-between spot. So what do you overall think of the transfer portal? Right, wrong, indifferent, whatever. What do you think?
I think like it's good because sometimes people really just make like the wrong choice for them.
I totally agree with that.
And I feel like it's needed. But I feel if you're behind someone at an early age and you feel like, oh, I'm not trying to really be behind this person, and it was great to be behind someone that's really good because you learn. Like, you get to fight every day in practice.
And they're preparing you, right?
Yeah, like, if I have a senior, basically, and I'm behind a senior, and I'm still playing, and I'm putting up, and it might be not the numbers that I'm trying to do at this time, but, like, if I'm playing and I have this, like, why leave a situation like that? Because you don't want to keep working that hard, or you want to go somewhere where it's like, nah, I'm just that guy. It just comes back to the whole ego thing. But I think the transfer portal is good. Like, I was picked up by the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, it's harder for kids now because, no offense, they're going to choose someone like me, like who has college experience.
Before they choose a high school senior. Yeah,
like,
they are.
And it's unfair to them because there's some high school seniors that can really help people win. And I feel like building culture can't just start always with a senior or something like that. They need someone, like, fresh and new that – or, like, some people need younger kids for them to understand, like, okay, we can build this culture here. Now people would want to come here.
Exactly.
But also having an older kid, also he already knows what kind of being in college is like. So it's like I see both sides of it, and I think the transfer portal is good, but also I just feel like sometimes it's just thousands and thousands of kids are always in the portal and like, oh, I don't like this exact situation, so I'm going to leave, or I'm not producing as much as I thought. And I would say, like, that's cool. Like, I understand, but at the same time, it's just like, I just feel unless it's like a completely better situation, like some people transfer up, which is really good.
Yeah.
Like I'm other.
Like if you're a D2 kid and
or like even
really
if you're a lower
shot.
level Division I, you're averaging 20. There's people that go to higher divisions, and I can see why. Yeah, like, but I just feel if you're in a good situation for you, but you just don't like that challenge, I just feel like I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't personally transfer, but I can.
Well, because there's a few kids that I was surprised. One that comes to mind that, obviously, and again, I don't know the ins and outs. Obviously, we can't know the details of everybody's situation, but like Issa leaving Stanford.
Oh, I'm not surprised by that.
Oh, see, I was. I thought they were building for him for the future, not like currently, but again, he's a good player. He's going to bounce somewhere and be just fine, but that's what I'm saying. It's stories like that kind of surprise me. I
think
guess
it's kind of like an Issa's, because watching him play, it's just they're not using like I was saying, like sometimes the situations just not, they don't use him. I feel like to the best of what he's capable of.
Right.
And if something like a situation like that, I would transfer too.
Yeah.
Because especially I've been there for 2 years now, and like now it's just kind of wasting my time. Like, I understand building around somebody and doing that, but the more and more you keep bringing in players, and now it's like. Right. What do you need me for?
Exactly.
Not even what do you need me for, because I feel like Issa can play a lot of, like, he's really, really, really
no,
good.
like I said, he's a great player. He's gonna be just fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like stuff like, if you're not, people aren't using me to what I'm capable, especially like if I have a role and I know my role and he's really good at his role, and they're not using him to be him,
right?
Okay. I feel like he's gonna do really good, especially once he finds somewhere that uses him to what he can do. He's gonna be tough.
And it's like, I was talking even, so what I've been advocating for because of the transfer portal and just a lot of this stuff is I encourage a lot of my high school kids to go JC, right? Just JC. I know, we do have some prep schools. Some I would say are more credible than others, but I've encouraged a lot of my kids, JC, whether you have the gray shirt, red shirt, whatever, whatnot, especially in our area, right? I tell them we're in a very unique situation here in like Sacramento because there's 6 JCs in our area.
Yeah.
And that's not usually the case for most places. Usually they only have like 1 or 2. I mean, even in the Bay, you only really have 2. You have Alameda, Chabot. Well, that's Hayward more or less, but still like, and then Merritt. And that's, really, and that's all the way in the hills. So it's like they're not even, but here you have Sierra, ARC,
like
Sac City.
Minutes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yuba City, Folsom Lake, like Consumnes. So, but what I tell the kids is even at the end of the day, if you really break it down numerically, there's roughly, let's say every college in our area only has 10 kids, right? But obviously, usually it's like 15 or more. But let's say at least 10 kids are playing. Right, you have the 6 JCs, Sac State, William Jessup, right? So at any given point, there's only 80 kids, maybe 80 to 100 kids playing college basketball every year just in our immediate area. So I tell them, like, looking at a JC like less than or looking at, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Because even when I was younger, I kind of was like, oh, D1 or bust, D1.
Yeah.
That's what you're kind of built for, but
now you see.
Everywhere there's somebody that'll bust your ass.
Exactly.
Like literally every single level. There's somebody D3 bust your ass, D2 bust your ass. D1.
Right.
There's people that aren't like are D1 because of people that they know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just about who you know and like
it's kind of a combination of luck, who you know, or
and also, like there's JUCO kids that are bust your ass.
Yeah.
There's everywhere.
There's this mistake that people think like, oh, if a kid is D3 and he go against a D1 guy, the D1 guy just wins automatically, right?
No, it's not like that at all. Because some people are like I'm saying, but also people are D1 literally because they know their role and they're really good at it.
Yes.
And people don't understand that because they're like, oh, if you're D1, you should be. Oh, you're this. You could probably do bro.
That's not the case.
Not every D1 player is like
a 30-point a night guy, right?
He's
just
a Tyler Perry. Shout out to TP. One of them, or a Ruben, or like
right.
Because we have my teammates. Like I have teammates that can do a lot.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that.
Right.
Like, especially if we played against teams that, oh, there's a dude that's a sniper. He can shoot, but when you go to the basket, it's not so pretty.
Yeah, he gets like all he can do.
Yeah, but he's so good at that.
Right.
That's why he's here. You can tell why, because when we left him open, he made it. Or if we was late on the closeout,
right.
he made it.
And
you're like, okay, I understand why.
Right. This is his role.
Yeah, but he's like that's what he's really good at. And there's no knocking him about anything else.
Right.
Because you could be like, oh, all you could do is shoot. Okay, I do it better than you. I do it so good. I'm here.
Exactly.
And there's people that are really like good at knowing their roles. But in JUCO, I played against people that were crazy. I had in our D2 league.
Yeah.
It was like one of the best D2. Like there's teams that we played a D2 team this year. It was cooking.
Yeah.
Like, there's people don't understand how close the difference of D2 and D1 is.
Yeah. What I always express is just the
size.
The size. Yeah, the
size
physical body.
and like the size, and I would say the in and out athleticism and size of people every day. Because you'll run into some people, even if our coach said it, like you'll run into some people that are like in D2 that are like, dang, these are freaks. But like, more and more we have.
On the D1 side, you're going to see that a lot.
Yeah, more and more. Like dang near every night we've run into somebody that was freak of nature. Every single team had somebody, you're like, oh, what is this? Boom. You're like, dang. Like, or dang, every team 6'10", somebody 7 foot, somebody's length. Like we had teams that shortest person on the team was 6'3".
Yeah, and that's a huge adjustment.
Like, oh, what is this?
Right, that's a huge adjustment.
But it's just stuff like that it's really the main difference. I wouldn't say a lot is different, especially from playing. I feel like skill wise, especially, I feel like D2 has a lot of really skilled, like really, really, really skilled because. We're not that like a super freak athlete.
Right.
What else are you gonna do?
You're gonna work on all your abilities.
But then in D1 you're running to people that are really skilled with freak of nature athleticism.
Right.
So it's like it's that's the main difference. I would say.
I agree, and I mean that's
because even D2, there's D2s that have D1 teams.
Yeah.
Like full of people that.
Well, I remember that story. There's this like Division III in Canada, that's like really good. They run like this crazy 5 hours. They were beating D1s and shit. Like I can't remember the name, but they did a whole special on them or whatever.
There was like so many D1s that beat. I mean D2s that beat D1s this year.
Yeah,
there was NAIAs that beat D1s this year.
That's what I feel like.
So
like you said,
it's not really that.
it's all about fit, circumstance, all that stuff. And that's why I'm glad I have you on the show. And that's why I'm preach on this show is like I'm trying to get the information out to the parents and kids so at least they have somewhere that is truly speaking authentically. Because of course, like you can look at the top end, like if you look at Shannon Sharp's podcast or Shaq's podcast or all that, they're talking to the top end guys who already made it and are retired. So it's like, it's easy to believe them.
And
but
all those people, like a lot of them people were D1 kids.
Yeah.
Unless like you got Jimmy Butler on there who was a JUCO kid.
Yeah.
One D1 or like
JJ Redick and all those guys.
Yeah, Duncan Robinson who was NAIA to D1 and
right.
But it's just way different. And even now, like my friends that like go D2, it's like that's huge.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand. Like not a lot of people can play D2 basketball.
You're right.
Not a lot of people can play JUCO. Like actual, because there's JUCOs that anybody can go play at a JUCO.
Right.
Like teams that are really good,
Yeah.
you're not making that team.
Like San Francisco.
So yeah,
San
it's like
Francisco
a normal dude like
Yeah.
walks out like that can hoop at a park is
Yeah.
not making that team.
Nah, because they push out studs.
Like, really, they push out a lot of really good like basketball players, and it's just people don't understand. Like there's levels to it because yes, like some D1 dudes is really like that for sure. That's why they're prospects. That's why they're going to the NBA and all of that. But there's some D2 dudes that are like that too.
Right, and again,
but they usually end up transferring up.
Right,
but that's why they transfer because they're really like that. But there's no knock on people that are being D2. Like it's.
My assessment is kind of like with the transfer portal, it's kind of turned college basketball to a degree into AAU in terms of like, if you don't like this, I'm going to leave, right? Not saying that's everyone's situation, but I get it to the college level because that's a business. Yeah. It's the business. People need to understand colleges, even if you want to look back historically at the foundation, now the real historical fact about colleges, they were based off of classism and racism. But taking out that component, it was mainly based off of business. That's why they call it an institution of higher learning, right? Because an institution is it's financially funded. So it's like at the end of the day, this is a business, right? So I get on the degree of the transfer portal because it's just like a job, right? Like of course, it's a job you love, but it's a job. But with AAU culture, I don't know. It's a little different. I just think it's kind of like, I feel like it's kind of like coaches. If a coach gets offered a better position, he gonna leave. Yeah.
Like, no offense.
Yeah, it's true.
Because when our head coach left and like he was doing a great job, he's been winning. But if I got offered, if I got offered that a year, I'm leaving too.
As I'm saying, and I get it, I get it.
So it's just situations, and it's no knock to him. Because he's doing what is best for him
and feeding his family, right? Yeah.
But like because some people really do need to leave. That's what I'm saying. Like they have a better situation somewhere else. But I think sometimes people overthink their situation because they had a really good situation. Because it's not always better.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's like a trickle up effect from AAU. Because I'll give you an example for me this year, right? I had a really good freshman team last year, like really, really good. I think they only took like 2 or 3 losses the whole season. Had a couple guys who, I think one for sure might have some D1 potential, but obviously potential is just that potential. But they're really good. Lost a lot of them this year. 2 went to Jalen Green Elite. 2 went to the Stockton Soldiers. 1 went to the Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets didn't even have a high school team last year, so I don't know how that happened. But it just, again, I talk about it on my docuseries and all that stuff, but these are kids I coached since like when you were young, like 5th, 6th grade, kids that, couldn't score a layup, didn't know anything really about basketball in terms of really how to play it at a high level. Coach them up, train them. I was one of their first trainers, all that stuff. And then, of course, they stopped training with me. They move on to these, whatever they call themselves, the elite trainers. I just think everyone trains. I don't know necessarily if you can call what elite. I think that's subjective, basically.
No, you just suck at training.
No, fuck you. I don't. I used to train your punk ass too. But here we go. So they left, right? And it just makes me reflect and always think, it's like, man, there really is no there's no loyalty. Or I'd say parents are loyal to the kid, but they're not loyal to the coach or the club. And I don't know why this is. I don't know if it's ever gonna stop or change. It's just there's always this culture now. Grass is greener somewhere else.
I don't know, because even with me, I kind of played throughout. I just really feel weird sometimes because if somebody helped me out so much, I feel kind of obligated, which is like, that's just me.
Yeah,
That's
you
how
have
it's kinda
have
raised.
loyalty and moral. I mean, you have a morality, a honor, right? That's what we would call it. You have honor. You feel like, man, I'm honoring this guy by sticking by his side and helping to try to elevate
But
where I came from.
Because even then, like, I left YBA for a year and I played, but it wasn't. I don't even know how to explain it for real. Not,
You
but-
did something that you thought you wanted to try. I mean, that's
yeah, because I feel like people should try to venture out, because like everybody needs to be let out of a shell.
right.
Like, sometimes you do blossom going somewhere else, but I feel like even when I blossomed, I always come back,
Yeah,
because those are the people that help me.
that's your roots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when I talk to my D, like I praise them all the time because they helped me get D1.
But a lot of kids, I'm saying they'll leave,
It never just
act like you didn't exist, act like
that's
you know
weird.
I'm beyond you. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
and I don't know if I don't know if it's again. I think it's a combination of the ego, the social media,
I think
the
a lot of
this
it's-
kid's doing it, I got to do it. You know, that type
I
of
just
deal.
feel like that's something that I used to do too. Like, always look at somebody else's journey, because
Yeah.
how bad I wanted to be there.
hmm
And I never hated on never in my life. But it's just like, it makes you so hungry. Like, dang, like this person's there. Like, I feel like I could be there. But
Do you think that's
It's-
right, or do you think
it's a balance. You have to have a balance of
Right.
it. Because I have friends that played D2 and D1 that killed it.
hmm
I wanted to play D2 and D1 and kill it too. But it wasn't the fact of like, I'm hating on you and like, oh, now I'm jealous. It's the fact of, now you're pushing me.
Right.
You have to use it to a certain extent, because it's good if you use it the right way. Because if I see someone doing something that I'm like, okay, I respect him and I feel like I can play at that level if I work hard enough, that's something that's just respect.
Right.
That means I'm showing, I give you your flowers,
Yeah.
but now I'm gonna work as hard so I
Right.
can meet you at the top.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like people kind of have like he did it, I can do it. Bet like
And
like
that's-
it's
that's
kind of, it's a
accurate,
difference.
yeah.
And I kind of said it the same, but it's kind of like it's a different mentality.
Yeah, like
to
why?
it.
Like it,
If
know,
he can
like
do it,
if
I
he
can
can do it, like if he can go play for Jalen Green Elite, I know I can play with the
Yeah.
Soldier. You know what I mean?
And
Because
it's just like that
weird.
kind of like, that little animosity towards it. And I think it's terrible to have that, because animosity is only going to get you killed,
yeah,
or it's going to make you think so much about like, oh, I should be doing this, that you don't focus on your journey. And once you like take your eyes, and once you like your focus is not on what you can do and it's about other people, I feel like that's going to, it's terrible. My dad always taught me never compare myself to another man, because nobody
Yeah.
else, I'm only me.
yeah,
Like, I can be like, and of course everybody does it. It's his
yeah.
life.
We all
because
compare ourselves to a degree with somebody. Yeah,
but it's like how you handle that is what makes you, and like what makes you, and how you come out.
What
to
about
be-
Well, see, but that's why I feel like the guys on the back end who get, because while the players are going through these motions, the guys on the back end, like myself, the coaches, the trainers, the people who poured into these kids and these families, because that's the biggest thing too that I deal with a lot. Like I've expressed even on my shows, I have to keep kind of a lot of families and people at arm's length. Of course, there's those who I'm really like gravitating close with, like I'm close with you and Derek and Brett Gill, and there's certain kids I'm really close with because Malik Rose, like all, because I know the families, I know you, like I really got close with you guys. But a lot of nowadays, especially nowadays, because the way AU is, I kind of have to keep families at arm's length, not more or less to protect myself, because I've literally had families who have, I mean, I've had moms, dads, a lot of moms who literally look me in the face and say, I'm loyal. You know, we're not the type of people to leave. We're always going to be loyal to YBA and you. You've done so much for my son. You've been great for him. You're everything for him. We love you. All this fluff for years, and then turn around and be like, oh, we're leaving. You know what I mean? So I'm like, damn, you know, how I know I'm not the only coach and trainer and person that goes through that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious.
I just kind of think like I was saying, I feel like people can leave because they have to because sometimes you play with somebody for so long, you have a different style and need something different. But I just feel like if you leave, you can always come back and show love. Now, I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like when you look at it with certain people, like if I wanted to leave YBA, when I left and I was playing for someone else, it was never like, oh, I'm never talking to Coach Chris again. It's not awkward when I see you. It's not anything else. I'm keeping you updated. I'm doing all this. And it's just like your intentions on what you're doing. Like if you're like, hey, I love playing here, but I feel like I have a good opportunity to go somewhere and maybe it's something
which
crazy.
is totally fine.
That's good.
Yeah. But you kept a personal relationship. That's what I'm saying. You kept. But that's what I'm saying. I deal with some of these kids. I mean, they just ghost and like nothing ever happened before.
Yeah. And I think that's weird because even me, like I know I'm stuck at replying. I really do, but it's never like I don't have any negative.
Yeah.
Like it's always like I'm always trying to figure it out because it's hard when you come back, but. I feel like it's not a problem. It's a personal problem, obviously, but it's like I'm so used to showing all this love. Like, so when I come back, everybody wants to see you.
Right.
Like, everybody's like, everybody wants the time. So now it's like, dang, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do that. But like when you have that many people backing you up for you being that like consistent with them, is going to help you out in the long run. Because now I have all these people backing me up and what I want to do. And like now they're supporting me. And of course, I know the people that supported me since I was a little. Like, nobody knew anything about me, nothing.
Right.
So I already know who had my back then and not the people that are kind of just joining in now that kind of knew of me and weren't showing that much. But I just feel like once people hit that certain age, they're going to probably call back and be like, oh, you remember us? And that's what people do now with me.
Yeah.
And I'm not famous. I'm nowhere near famous. I haven't done anything.
Hey, you play college ball, man. You're a D1 athlete.
But it's just
some fame comes with that.
So it's just like, oh yeah, we were cool in high school, or we were this, and
you're
this.
like, I don't.
And it's the most like frustrating and annoying thing I've ever dealt with.
It's a real thing, right?
It makes you not want to like pick up your phone. Because now
random numbers or
that's
people
all you want to talk about. Like you weren't there when I was like basically in JUCO. You weren't saying the same things in JUCO. You weren't saying the same things when I was at D2.
Well, that's why it's funny because I tell people I was talking to Matt's mom, Matthew Schroeder's mom, Kat, and we were talking about you, and after you won the championship and all that, of course we were talking about you, and I said a lot of people they don't know the self doubts. You talked about it on the episode, your first episode here years ago when you were just like, there's times you're doubting yourself, there's times you're frustrated, there's times you're think like, do I want to keep going and all this. They see the end, right? Yeah. They didn't see the process, the journey.
And even then, like, it's when people see that process, like, they don't really understand. Like, you'll never understand it until you really go through it. But people that are there for you throughout that process are the people that I try to always come back and help. And of course, like, I'm thankful for everybody now that like we kind of kept that like cool, but. It's just like people like that, like especially now that I can kind of come back and tell them like my experiences.
Yeah, it's
really cool because I had it from like my big brother, basically Isaiah Pinheiro, like he helped me out, and then, like, all the people I trained with who played at like the really high level players that helped me out, and it's like it's always love when I see them because when they first met me, they accepted me and they wanted me like and they helped me out.
Right.
And now I'm a part of them. Like, now we're all a part of. Like when I met Sheed 2 years ago. Yeah. Basically, and he's basically like we're family.
And you're a part of that.
Yeah.
That group, that culture, like the Jordan Fords, and like you said,
and Ford reaches out, and all of them, and they have so much other stuff they could be doing. Right. It's just little things like that, because like when you have people like that in your corner, it means the world, especially if you do something with it. Because, like, all that, it made you – I feel like y'all – of course, I had to do it myself to an extent, but I tell people all the time I wouldn't be anything without the people that have helped me out to get to where I needed to go. Because I literally wouldn't have anything. I wouldn't have no backbone. I wouldn't have nothing.
That's true. Well, you're all right. You did all right, dumbass. Well, my last question before you get out of here, because this is another component that I see now with college athletes especially, which is really cool.
Money.
Because, well, yeah, the money. But on top of that, I was going to say the money and the following. Like, you know, don't you have a blue check mark now and all that? Yeah, you got a blue check mark.
People be paying for it. I ain't pay for mine. I'm letting y'all know that. I ain't pay for mine.
You didn't pay for yours?
Got verified for real.
Stop the cap.
No cap. I can show you too. I can show you exactly when I got it. I can show you when I got it.
All right.
People be paying. No.
They do.
No. This
pay.
is a public service now.
Yes, okay.
People be paying for blue checks.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know why.
Because it just, people want to be verified.
Oh, you heard him laugh?
Yeah.
People be paying for blue checks.
Hey, people want to get verified.
People want to get verified, but like it's annoying.
Because it's a status thing.
It was
just like people pay for followers.
I was so happy when I got a blue check because it was like not the fact of, oh, I'm better than anybody.
Yeah,
it's the fact that like I was getting recognized for every little thing that I did. Like, and
people like validation and recognition, of course.
Yeah, like, and it validated like all my. It felt like okay, all my hard work.
But people will do it to the point they want to pay for it.
Yeah, but a blue check doesn't mean everything. I'm letting y'all know this right now. I'm not saying it like, oh my God, I got a blue check, my life changed. But like, it's cool to know like, okay, all this hard work, they like people have recognized it to where like now I can be verified to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to.
But people be paying for it. You not. I know a couple of my friends pay for it. I love you though. But,
they pay for followers too. If you look at people's followers and you see a bunch of Middle Eastern and blank supermodels as followers, you know that was paid for.
People out here paying for blue checks.
Shut the
$15 a month. Don't miss your payment or it's gone.
What about but no, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, no, like
let your credit card don't go through. You unverified that day.
It's like Metro. Like Metro, basically. You don't pay that bill. They cut it off.
Facts.
Fair enough.
You got a light bill for $15 a month for a blue check is crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, some people, it's that's I mean, people are that hungry for clout. Like me, I do this show.
You pay for one.
No, I would never do that. I've never paid for one. Never.
Watch, in a month, you have a blue check.
Here we go. I do this show for information because I love sitting down with people, love their journeys. And, you know, I do the YouTube stuff. I'm trying to grow my own YouTube channel because it's mainly just basketball content. Like, I don't give a damn about clout. I like information, though. I like learning. I like learning people. I like hearing their stories. I want people to get the information from guys like you on the inside so they can't sit there and be like, oh, well, what's it like? Because, of course, again, they can look at the top end. They can look at the J.J. Redicks, the Matt Barnes, the Steven Jacksons, the Shannon. Those are all the people. That's the less than 1% stories. They don't around for the in-between guys, right? The guys that still played high-level basketball, D1, maybe go overseas, maybe go to the G League. Like I would love to sit down with Jordan Ford, have his story. You know what I mean? He's playing for the Kings right now. Not the Sacramento Kings, but the Stockton Kings, right? But to hear his journey and see how he's still going, right? Isaiah would be one I would love to sit down with. Like, I want people to hear from those guys, right? Because again, and shout out to Marcellus because I know they've done his podcast, but Marcellus already has a huge following because he's a YouTube celebrity, right? So it's just
Shell ducking my ones too. My bad.
Yeah, apparently I saw that on your stories. He's ducking you, all right, but like. He's another kid I coached and all of a sudden fucking became famous or whatever. But yeah, with the social media, with the following, with the blue check mark, you know, what's that like? What's your life like with that? I mean,
it's cool, I guess. Nah,
having that little, you know, I know that little caveat of status, you know, it can adjust some things. I'm sure you get random DMs and shit all the time. So just saying, what's that like?
And people that I know get random DMs. Crazy, but I don't know. I think it's cool because, like I was saying, like as much as people don't want to admit it, everybody wants validation.
Yeah, of course, we all want validation.
So it's cool to have it's cool to understand that what I've done, people recognize it and people like respect it. But I would just say like people let it get to their head. I literally say all the time, I'm still kind of
you're still a goofy little kid.
Yeah, like I'm gonna act the same way. Nothing else. My clothes might change. You feel me? Might get a big old chain.
Right. Okay.
No, I'm serious though. I'm getting a big chain. But shout out to my parents. But but I think it's just all about how you use it. Like, I really wanted to be verified so I can get clothes, like be able to reach out, like
That's fine.
but like be able to reach out to people and like,
Yeah, that's a smart.
because
Hey,
once you have it, it's just like, okay,
they give
there's
you
certain
a
perks to it.
shirt or some shorts to brand out there. Yeah, why not?
it's not even that. It's just like when you reach out,
Yeah,
kind of have more of like a stamp to it.
right.
So
Well, look at
it's
someone like Angel Reese. She's
like she's
about,
kind of she's stamped.
about to make ridiculous amount of money in college for the
And
next
then
few
even
years.
then, like when that happens, like you can still be able to reach out and be able, like, especially more with a higher following.
Mhm.
And even then, like my goal since I was a little kid was just like travel the world and like I want to help people.
Yeah,
So like the more and more following I get, like I want to be able to just tell my full story like of my life one day, because I feel like it'll help a lot of people out, because I'm not just like Kai, like the people that they see now, and
Yeah.
like all that. Like my family went through Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of stuff to where like it probably help a lot of people out. Like I've suffered through a lot of stuff that I
Right.
feel like people can relate to. So I feel like if you use it the right way, it's amazing. Some people use it like clout based and
of
they want
course.
to, but I think it's just tough because I have a like TP on our team. He has a huge following, but
Right.
he reaches out with kids a lot, and he like goes out and tells a story.
Nice.
And I think that like there's people like that. Like we have a lot of kids, and we have like a lot of high class people on our team that use it to their advantage. Some people you do use it for other reasons, wild,
And
wild.
it's to
And
each
it's
their
cool
own,
'cause
right?
It's them. Like it's cool, but I think if you use it the right way, it's the best thing ever. Because like the best thing about being validated for basketball is the fact that now people have more of a reason to listen to me as a person.
Right.
So now I can tell my story, and like I might not be the biggest superstar, no nothing, but like I'm more credible, like in a sense to where I can tell my story and people aren't going to be like, you never did nothing. 'Cause
Right.
I haven't done anything yet in a serious standpoint. I'm still
Right.
in college. I'm still a kid, but like I've done enough to where like I could probably go and talk to a kid and he would listen, and it's kind of like respectable. So I'm happy about that, because it's just I've always wanted to share like and help people and be able to share that story. So to have a following to where I can one day be able to do that is something that is really important to me, because I
Well-
know people out there can really benefit from it.
Well, like we talked about earlier, all ball players, all people should, especially if you're doing something worthwhile, should have an ego, right? But I always say this, I say ego without control, brings upon chaos, right? But a ego with control is called confidence, right? So, that's what I say. You be confident in who you are and what you can do.
Always be yourself.
Yeah, and everything good will come out from it, right?
People always follow you. I mean, not always follow, but like people will draw to you more if you're always genuinely being you. Nobody wants nobody that is just, I'm this way this day, and then the next day I'm completely different.
Yeah.
No matter what, you can say I've been the same kid since I was 12.
Unfortunately.
So, a real one. Oh, hold
Well,
on, turn me up.
no, please don't do that.
Let me go ahead and
But thanks for coming in. I appreciate you taking your time. And then,
hold on. Shut up. Look.
can you not? I'm going to finish what I have to say. Oh, shout out Dr. Dish. Sorry, I didn't put that out there. Shout out Dr. Dish. Best
Shout out
shooting
Dr. Dish. Shout out
machine on
best
the
shooting machine
market.
on the market on my
because
feel me?
you guys are
Sponsor me.
sponsoring me and you're helping me out. Don't sponsor him. He can't
sponsor
shoot.
me, Dr. Dish.
You do not want him in any of your shooting videos.
Shout out to
So,
all my guys.
shout out to North
out-
Texas,
yeah, for real.
and
Shout out to
we're
my
getting that
parents.
NIT championship. What's your
Facts.
coach's name? I
Grant McCaslin.
Grant what?
Coach Mac.
Coach
Call him
Mac.
Coach Mac. Call him.
Okay, well, shout out to you, Coach
Hodge.
Mac,
Hold on, shout out
for
Coach
having to
Mac.
deal with
shout out
him.
Coach Hodge. Shout out Coach Dre. Shout out AC. Shout out Clay. Hold on, let me get to all the managers.
Okay, oh, my
Mikey,
goodness.
Dez. Hold on, Jalen.
Hurry up.
Preston. Dang. Nah, I'm messed up. Hayden. Hold on, no.
Splash for you guys.
Hold on. Yeah.
Hurry up.
Man, shout out to all the managers, bro. Hold on, we got I already said that.
Okay.
Hold on. Dang, bro. We have a lot more too that I'm hella thankful
Shout
for.
out to the whole community
Staff.
there, the staff,
They
the
just helped me
school. Thanks for taking care of this kid. I appreciate it.
Shout out to hold on. Shout out to all my little bros out there that be listening to me.
I don't know why they would, but
Shout out
okay.
to everybody that helped me. Shout out to the guys. Shout out to Apartment 93 in North Texas. Mulai. Jaden, Tyree. You feel me? And,
Thanks. And
shout out to my mom for real. She be folding my clothes. And, shout out to
I
my
love your
dad.
parents.
He a real one too. Shout out to my sister Yuri.
Shout out to your sister too. Yep, she's good.
Hold on. Now I'm on you. Look, Coach Chris is a bum. He can't ever guard me. He never was able to guard me.
Here we go. I
God.
beat you.
He still owe me $50.
I beat you. I don't owe you $50. I beat
owes
you.
me $50 to this day.
I beat you.
I told the story last time. Y'all should look back and look at the story.
Please go look at the episode. I beat him.
$50.
I beat him.
He owes me $50.
And I'm older now. I'm grayer and got a beard and older
now. He
now.
was like, bro, you gonna actually play? I said, bet I'll play right now. Boom.
I don't owe you $50.
Boom. Started cooking him. $50. I stand and got my money.
I helped you get to college. You're welcome.
No, you didn't. Like I said, he did not coach me. I said it at the beginning of that episode.
Really?
He didn't coach me. I coached myself. Shout out to Coach Brandon.
Please hit that subscribe and like.
Shout out to Coach Brandon.
If you're listening to audio, you're a real one.
Hold on, Coach. Shout out to
and
Coach
we
Smalls.
are out.
No, we're not. Don't stop. Look, shout out Coach Smalls. He helped me. Shout out to my Uncle Keon. He coached me since I was a little kid. Shout out to all my uncles that helped me out.
I'm so tired
Coach
of this.
Chris, no, don't stop it yet.
I'm about to cut you off.
Don't even do that. Look,
I'm going
Coach
to.
Chris is a bum. He's never been able to guard me when we played. He always had an NBA player on his team when I was young in high school. If you try to play me right now, I'll
All right, everybody,
I'm not
we're
done yet.
out.
Look,
Bye.
shout out to all.